Hey, I want to cover the three main mistakes that I see in sales teams, and this is after building and consulting dozens and dozens of sales teams, working with over 32 different sales teams over the last handful of years. And these three mistakes, if you're making them, they are definitely costing you money. And you're going to be surprised by the fact that you would think, some of these mistakes are like, oh yeah, of course. And it ends up actually being the opposite. And I'm going to explain why. So what are the three core mistakes that I just personally see sales teams making? And then when we fix them, when we change it, how that obviously allows that company to grow in revenue, get more productivity out of the team, and even have better culture, right? Where it makes it feel like this, the sales team is, humming and hooing, and like it's a team, it's a camaraderie. So what are the three mistakes? Mistake number one is actually you trying to make it fair. Okay, you're trying to make it fair in your sales team, and the reality is you need to make it unfair. Now, what do I mean? Because that sounds cruel and mean. So you need to make it unfair, meaning your top producers, like your top sales guys, right? The freaking killers. Those guys should not be making like a percentage more than the other guys. They should be making exponentially more than the other guys. And then the bottom guys should actually not making so much that they end up weeding themselves out, because you have standards, right? And if you want to have an elite team, you need to have an elite standard. But the way to do that is to align incentive and also reward the people who are producing for you. So practically, what does this actually look like, and what do I suggest with sales teams? So first of all is the comp plan, meaning as you ratchet up, let's say you guys we're commission only sales reps. Obviously you want to have the commission based on what is most important to the business. If contract value is most important, then you incentivize sales based on contract value. If cash flow is important, then you need to incentivize based on cash collected, right? Because I can make 20 sales and get all 20 on a payment plan, right? But the time to cash, if it's a 20-month payment plan, is 20 months. Versus if I do 20 units, but I get 16 of them to prepay and pay the contract in full, and only 4 on a payment plan, well, obviously that might be better for the business. So you want the comp plan obviously to align there, but then also your bonus structures and the different ceilings or maybe not ceilings, but milestones where you do bonuses or increased commission. Do not put a ceiling or a cap on it, by the way. Like if you have some crazy salesperson who figures out a way to just blow your numbers out of the water, and he or she makes an insane amount of money, let them do it. Let them do it. Let them make an insane amount of money. So don't put a cap on the bonuses and on the milestones, but also have those milestones be big jumps. Right? So anyone who's under 100K a month cash collected, if it's a B2C environment, if they hit 100K and they're at 10%, have them jump to 13 and have it be retroactive on all volume, not just all new units above, but it's retroactive. And then if you go from 100 to 200K, make it go to 18%, because what you don't realize when you look at the math, because you're thinking well, gosh, that's going to eat into my margin. No, because if they're closing more units per booking that they see, your marketing cost and acquisition cost is less. So you're actually sharing that profit from decreasing the cost to put opportunities and leads in front of that salesperson. You're basically sharing the profits with them for producing. And then that's gonna make them happy. It's gonna make them earn so much money that they're gonna wanna stick with you, and you're not gonna have turnover there. And then if you do a bonus, have the bonus be hey, if you hit 200K, instead of 10%, which is normal cash collected commission, you'll jump to 15% on everything, even if you're under 100K for next month. So you incentivize this new bonus by placing it on the productivity for the following month. So now they're gonna go hunt and go crazy on the next month. But then you see what you do is guys who are doing 60K a month of cash collected, then they're only gonna make 6K, but someone who's doing 150K a month cash collected, they're gonna make 18K, right? So you want huge disparity. So that's unfairness one. And unfairness two, you wanna send the best, most qualified leads to the hunters, the really good guys, your A players. So not only are the A players getting the best leads, they're earning the most money and have the best comp plan, but guess what? It's because they're freaking good. So make your sales team unfair in these ways. Mistake number two. Mistake number 2 is basically you trust without verifying. Okay, everyone remembers, Reagan, the president, and if you're super young, he was a president here in the United States back in the 80s. But Ronald Reagan had this saying, this phrase, which was trust but verify. And so you want to trust your team, of course, right? You don't want to constantly micromanage, because then they're going to feel like you're a crappy leader and they have bitterness towards you. You don't want that. You trust, but you verify. And so if you don't have good data or rev ops to truly verify both the qualitative data, how many leads they're getting, their contact rate on those leads, their show rate, their follow-up, what's their average follow-up days, what's their sales cycle, all of those key metrics, you should be able to quickly ascertain how they're doing week to date, month to date, quarter to date, year to date, right? But then also that's quantitative. What about qualitative? Every call should be recorded. Those calls should be going through some sort of scoring rubric, right? You can use AI, you can place a knowledge base, right? So you can put like your scripts, your SOPs, your sales process, have every transcribed call go through the scoring rubric, kicks out a score, right? That's the output and a summary, and that gets kicked over to Slack. That gives you at least insight on, all right, this guy's following the script, right? Because also, what if someone's crushing it, they're making a bunch of sales, but you're not tracking the backouts, the clawbacks, the cancellations, the refund rate, and the reason they're crushing these 2 months is because they're saying something like really ill-intentioned, or like they're mispromising stuff in the sales call. But because you're not verifying that, you're just like, oh dude, this guy's crushing, he's amazing, you're the best, but you're not verifying that they're doing it the right way. That would be a problem. So you need to trust and verify. Do not make the mistake of like just trusting your guys who are crushing it and not verify what's happening. Mistake number 3, it's very simple, but it's highly effective. And that's you need to do consistent one-on-ones with all of your sales guys. And obviously, if you have a bigger sales organization, you have sales leadership at different rungs. You've got sales managers, directors, VP of sales, so forth. But you should be doing a one-on-one. Everyone should have a one-on-one with their direct report, because you need to check in on how are they doing spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, right? How's their personal life going? Sales is highly nonverbal and highly state-oriented. And if your guy's in bad state, wouldn't you want to know that? You should be checking in on the conviction of your product or service. Like, do they feel all in with the company? Like, do they believe in the thing that they're selling? Have they gotten jaded? Have they seen testimonials and maybe use cases where they're starting to like lose conviction? Like, hey, maybe this thing doesn't work and I don't feel good about it, right? And so they might have a conviction issue. Maybe they've got some beef with somebody on the team and it's causing like a culture issue, right? Are they still aligned on your mission, vision, and values, right? You need to have relationship with your sales guys, because it's hard to like have these rules and drive performance if they don't feel like you care about them and you're there for them to win. If it's just one-sided, they're just gonna look for the better opportunity, and when it comes, they're gonna say, peace out, found something better, they're gonna pay me more. But when you have someone who truly cares about you, your mission, they wanna serve the mission, they wanna serve the clients, they wanna serve you as their leader, that's gonna have your guys close better, it's gonna have them stay longer, you're gonna have less turnover, you're gonna lose less money from having to hire and onboard new sales reps. So very, very important. Those are the 3 key mistakes that I see happening right now. If this was helpful, you can also click one of the links below. You can get a free $100 million sales roadmap, which is basically a sales roadmap we've built out for teams that has 4 key plays, or it's got more than that, depends on what time you're watching this video. So that way you can start to put things in place with your sales team. You can do it this week to drive more revenue, drive more profit, and have a team that you love. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead, give me a subscribe. It would really allow me to sleep tonight, because then I'll feel validated like you like me. I'm just kidding. But if you saw value from this, click like, subscribe, post a comment below of other content you want me to make, and I'll do it for you.